There was a time in my life where getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. Not because I was lazy, but because I was tired in a way sleep couldn't fix. I'd wake up with this dull ache in my chest. Like I was already behind. Like I'd already failed. Before the day had even started. I'd scroll through my phone, seeing everyone else chasing dreams, checking off goals, smiling, thriving. And I'd wonder, why can't I be like them? There was no dramatic breakdown. Just a slow, quiet unraveling. 100 small disappointments I never talked about. 1,000 quiet moments where I lost a little piece of myself. I stopped dreaming. Stopped hoping. Started settling for less. Because trying and failing felt worse than not trying at all. I pretended I was okay. I smiled when I was supposed to. I nodded during conversations but wasn't really there. I became really good at disappearing, even in a crowded room. And I don't think anyone noticed. You know that feeling. When you're in a room full of people, and yet you feel completely alone? That was my life, for longer than I care to admit. But here's the part one don't usually say out loud. There were nights I questioned if I even mattered. Not in a dramatic way. Just in that quiet, aching kind of way. Where you wonder if the world would even notice if you stopped trying. I was just surviving. Going through the motions. And somewhere in all that, I forgot what it felt like to really live. But then, somewhere in the quiet, in one of those long nights when sleep wouldn't come, I had this tiny, fragile thought. What if this isn't how the story has to end? What if there's still something in me worth fighting for? It wasn't some big, cinematic turning point. It was subtle, gentle, a soft whisper inside me that said, try again. And so I did. Not in a big, impressive way, but in small, simple ways. I got out of bed, even when it was hard. I made my bed, even when I felt empty. I drank water, went for short walks, and slowly, I started to show up for myself again. I started being kinder to myself. Not because I suddenly believed I was worthy, but because I realized being cruel to myself wasn't working anymore. And with time, I began to heal. The pain didn't disappear overnight. It didn't magically get better. But I learned how to carry it without letting it bury me. I stopped chasing perfection and started celebrating progress. I let go of the need to have it all together and finally gave myself permission to fall apart so I could rebuild, piece by piece. One of the hardest lessons I had to learn was that success isn't always loud. It's not always visible. Sometimes, success looks like getting out of bed, returning a text, taking a deep breath and not giving up. Sometimes success is invisible, but deeply meaningful. I also had to unlearn everything I thought I knew about self-worth. I had tied it to my productivity, to my bank account, to how much I was achieving. But what about my compassion? What about the nights I held space for my pain and didn't numb it? What about the days I stayed when I wanted to disappear? That counts too. That matters. And if no one ever told you, that part of your story matters just as much as the wins. I started speaking to myself differently. I started replacing the harsh, punishing voice in my head with something softer. It's okay to be where you are. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You're allowed to start over, even if you've started over 100 times. And somewhere along the way, the days got lighter. The shame got quieter. And I began to believe that maybe, just maybe, I deserved good things too. I rebuilt my life slowly. Not with big leaps, but with tiny steps every single day. And eventually, what once felt impossible started to feel like something I could actually reach. I found purpose in the little things. I reconnected with people who made me feel seen. I created new routines that nourished me. And I started doing things not to impress anyone, but simply because they made me feel alive. That was my version of success. And if you're in a place right now where everything feels heavy, where hope feels far away, please hear me when I say, you're not alone. And this isn't the end of your story. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need one reason to keep going. One tiny thread of hope. And the courage to take one small step. You've already made it through so much. You've already survived things you never thought you would. That makes you strong. That makes you worthy. And even if no one sees it, even if it feels like no one understands, I see you. You are doing better than you think. You are becoming someone your younger self would be proud of. Keep going. Keep breathing. Keep choosing yourself. There's a version of you in the future. Standing in the light. Smiling without forcing it. Living fully, deeply, gently. And they're waiting for you. Waiting to welcome you home. So no matter how slow your progress feels, no matter how many times you've had to begin again, it's okay. You're allowed to heal at your own pace. You're allowed to grow in the quiet. You're allowed to become someone new. This isn't just your struggle. It's your becoming. And I promise you, you're not falling apart. You're being reshaped into someone softer, wiser, deeper. Someone who knows how to rise. Your journey doesn't need to look like anyone else's. It's still valid. It's still beautiful. And it's still going somewhere meaningful. So if you've made it this far, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to stay. Thank you for giving yourself a chance. And if this message touched your heart, if you felt seen in any part of this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click the like button. And share this video with someone who might need it too. Let's remind each other, we are not alone in our struggles. And we are never too far gone to rise again. Your story isn't over. In fact, it's just beginning.